Tonight,
You are listening to the Doug Stanhope Podcast.
Otto's Bar in DeKalb, Illinois, allowing us to stay here as they're trying to shut up the bar out there. It's the Doug Stanhope Podcast, sitting in the green room at Otto's Bar in DeKalb, Illinois, with Geoff Tate, Brett Erickson, Junior Stopka, Bingo, Kerry Mitchell, etc., etc. I don't know where they're going to break this up. Maybe they play it all as one long drunken affair.
I wanted this on the show. Right? This is the show, right?
This is the post-game report.
Hey, it's
on the Doug Stanhope Jekyll and Hyde post-game podcast.
Is this
Good thing
the
we have
Hyde
these
portion?
windscreens because I'm using a lot of P's. Popping the mic a lot.
We're very implosive this evening. So we have wind
Greg Chaille is going to have to commandeer this. We had to take Junior's mic away.
I think you're wrong.
Junior just said...
now he has
because
something
he
to
talked
say.
without a mic.
Well, Junior never talks much.
I'm trying to steer a conversation towards the funny people.
All right.
But they left already.
That was that was a show. That's one that will go down in the record books of one guy.
As a
that was
show
here.
that was done.
Yeah. Everything we expected of DeKalb. I'm fucking so glad I never have to try to pronounce that stupid name again.
You know, there were a lot of nights Joe DiMaggio went 1 for 4.
Yeah, it kept his hitting streak alive.
It kept his hitting streak alive. So that's it.
It was.
This is a 1 for 4.
Yeah, it was. Keep your tweets and Facebook comments coming.
I don't even think it was a 1 for 4. I think we fucking hit for the cycle.
It was fun.
That's
You
what
guys
Well,
fucking.
I was funny.
killed.
You guys were terrible.
They seemed to shut up for Junior. You didn't have to fight, did
They
you?
shut up for.
Well, he can't talk.
Well,
he doesn't have
but
a
he had
microphone.
Geoff Tate had to fight his way to get him to shut the fuck up, and it was brilliant.
He did his. I'm going to correct the room,
Yeah.
and you're not taking that away from my time.
Yeah. Chaille's the only one that notices. When Chaille says I did 12 minutes and 34 seconds, what I think is it only took me 2 minutes and 34 seconds to fix the room.
That's a new record.
Yeah, Brett, I've followed you a lot. Sometimes it takes me more than 2 minutes and 34 seconds to fix the room.
It happens.
You know
what I call him in that situation? Doug Stanhope's problem.
Exactly right. You're learning, kid.
I steal your own joke on this podcast.
I'm going to steal your hat and run out.
I'll chase you, and then you'll end up hurting yourself.
I'll hurt my own self.
I hurt my own goddamn self.
Are we recording?
Yeah, we started recording.
We did?
At
I'm
some
cutting
point.
that part out, though.
What part? The part where I was awesome? Jesus, Greg, I see where you're going.
Your producer
with
did that on
By the
your
way, you
CD
can hear
too.
that last part on Geoff Tate's podcast, the Geoff Tate podcast.
Yeah.
So, Doug, what do you want to do for your post-show podcast?
Well, I want to tell that story. I got another suicide email, which are commonplace now. Like, I'm your go-to comic if you say you want to kill yourself.
Because Richard Jennings dead.
No, not from a comic. I get a lot of suicide.
Oh, now I'm getting it.
Did Jenny
Not
send you an
comics.
email?
No,
themselves.
people, they say they're going to kill themselves. And I always respond in a, like, here's how, a happy way to, well, do this on your way out.
Yes.
I never, ever,
Zeppelin roll.
and fucking,
Doug,
like,
I make the promise that if I do it, I'll do it in Bisbee. I said that wrong. When I do it, I'll do it in Bisbee.
that
During a
was,
trombone parade?
we want to start comedy hospice. Like they do comedy defensive driving,
Right.
comedy hospice. Because after my mother, you go, there's got to be other dark fucking people out there with rotten humor that don't want to just be fondled by fucking relatives that are just worried about the will and, I love you so much, Grandma. Like, fuck you. Do
So we
comedy
can show up
hospice.
at the hospital and like encourage them to do their funny material.
No, you
before
go
they
to wherever they are, their house or their hospice
Yeah,
care,
it's
and you
great.
just be a fucking prick and goof on them.
So you'll be like Kevorkian with charisma.
Yeah, we don't actually do the killing. We're just there like fucking dark birthday clowns mocking your death.
So we don't have to go alone. Because guys like me go alone. But now I don't have to go alone because you and your whole fucking merry pranksters will show up.
Yeah, like a roast.
Yeah.
By the way,
Death
Mary
roast.
Pranksters is trademarked by Ken Kesey.
We'll work around it.
Deathroast.com. Someone just
This is
stole
our professional
deathroast.com. So anyway, so I get this one email during this tour, and it says, hey, suicide help, and it's from a chick. And she says, listen, I'm going to kill myself. I thought you're the guy to go to. It was very, like, written, no emotion. And I have 50, 30 milligram OxyContin. I have a high tolerance for them. I used to take 5 a day, 5 at a time, twice daily. So I don't know if that's enough. And I know that I watched your new special. Fucking rocked.
Of course.
She was nice. Yeah, no, she put that in.
Because like at that point you'd have been like, well, she didn't like my special, so I'm
Yeah.
not
Did
gonna-
She goes, but you obviously know someone to talk to. And I go, I really don't. Like, I've called in a favor for my mother, but I have no idea about OxyContin. I said that later. All I wrote back, she said, I never finished that painting, but I don't, blah, blah, blah. So I go, oh, it's someone I've met, and I searched her name in my email, and then I remembered her from Ocean Beach, and she was hot. I remember this. She brought the painting to us unfinished to show us. Well, thank you very much, and tried to take it. She goes, oh, it's not done. So in the email, she
Wait,
said,
she brought it to you just to show it to you and then take it back home to work on it? sometime?
yeah. Because she was in the, and
like
she was
that.
very sweet. I
I like
remember
that already.
because she wrote back, "I'm sorry, I was a nuisance at the merch table." No, everyone else is a fucking nuisance. You were a cute girl that was nice and brought a painting and didn't bother anyone. It's always the nice people that think they're a fucking problem, and all the fucking cunts out there that are a problem. Anyway,
Milwaukee.
so I didn't know what to write back, so I just wrote back, "Finish the painting." Thinking maybe because it came in 4 emails, like the 2 of the exact same email and then 2 of the exact same email with a picture attached. So I figured she's just drunk. I just finished the painting. And then she wrote back, listen, I really need advice. I can't find anything on the internet. I have to go this week.
This week?
Yeah.
Deadline? For the Bears game, I got to fucking check out.
Yeah, I don't know. I just I searched her Facebook and go, she's hot. So all of a sudden, I care. Which is like, it's against all my rules. I always go, yeah, go ahead, have fun, do this on the way out, do something cool. But so on her email, she had her number, and I called her. Half these fucking gigs, we have to do mobile green room because there is no green room. So Chaille just parks the van by the emergency exit, and we sit in there and drink and smoke. So I'm sitting there waiting for the show, and I call her up, and she answers. I go, why every time I call you on the phone, you're going to kill yourself? And she goes, what do you mean? I go, well, I only called you once now, and you're going to kill yourself. And she's just like, listen, it's not.
She didn't get it.
Well, no, she was funny on the phone because she got cunty with me when I said I had no information. Well, okay, whatever. But I'm like, I'm not trying to be an asshole. I just don't know. Like, what's the problem and this and that. She's like, I'm done with it and this. And so it goes into a telephone, texting, email conversation where she's, I go, I'm not going to talk you out of it.
Right.
She goes, I don't want to be talked down. I go, I'm not the guy to do it. I'm just saying, I'll try to make it funny on your way out. Comedy hospice.
Right.
She sent me an email that said, hey, I'm not trying to bug you with this shit. I'm just some random chick. And I wrote back, no, you're a random hot chick.
Right.
So now I'm conflicted. Normally I don't try to say anything positive, but now I feel like I should. So it got to the point where she goes, all right, I'm going to do it tomorrow, texting me. It's tomorrow morning's go time. And we're on the road. I'm trying to fucking work.
Were we in Toledo? Or was that one in?
No, it was in Erie when I was talking. I first called
yeah.
her That's when she was sitting in a tub. I go, I'm having a hard time hearing you. You sound like you're in a fucking tunnel. She goes, I'm in the tub. I go, oh, so you just need a fucking razor blade, and you can do it. You can do it right there.
And wait, and you're in Erie, Pennsylvania
Yeah.
at this point?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it.
So
bad,
you
sister.
should be killing yourself.
And she's right. That's exactly
She should
what I
be
said.
talking you out of killing yourself.
I actually said that.
You're in
I go,
Erie,
I'm on a fucking
Pennsylvania.
shit town tour.
She's in some place called Ocean Beach.
She was actually
My
in
mom
Dallas.
is mean to me.
Dallas?
We met her in Ocean Beach, but it turns out she had moved to Dallas, but I didn't know that at the time.
She
Anyway,
mostly lived in Paradise Beach.
She just needed to move. Hot girls got a lot of fucking chips on the table in most towns.
when I sent her the "No, you're a random hot chick," she emailed back with a naked picture out of the tub. And
Like
said,
holding that
well, it was just
paper?
like, this is why I'm going to kill myself. I'm worth $250,000 dead to my family, and they're really nice, but I'm a fucking asshole, and I was an oxy addict for 10 years, and I've been clean for a year, but I'm a piece of shit, and I'm just doing this.
Jeff, that's like your bio.
And then finishes it with a naked picture, very blurry, but enough to know.
Clearly hot.
Clear-
Even blurry.
tw-
in a foggy,
Yeah.
foggy mirror in the bathroom still.
Yeah, 28 years old, and then it finished the email with, now I really have to kill myself because I'll be too embarrassed to ever see you again after mailing this picture.
That's the
It was like
worst or best reason to kill yourself. I really talked myself into a corner on this one.
Well, it got to a place where she sounded dead serious. Like, I'm doing it tomorrow. My husband goes to work, and I have the oxys. I don't want to use a gun. I don't want to leave a mess. And I'm talking to her on the phone. She's sounds like dead serious and committed. And I'm like, all right, now what do I do?
Right.
Like, I even said to her, like, send me a fucking email at least saying that you were kidding. Because I don't know what responsibility I have legally to notify
Right.
someone.
Yeah, are you
and your
culpable on
husband
some
finds
level?
these fucking emails and text messages. Yeah,
You don't want to be on Anderson Cooper.
she's like, no
360.
problem. I'm deleting all the emails and I'm deleting the text messages. And she did send a fucking email going, hardy har, it was just a big joke. And but I'm sitting with Chaille going, all right, like, I don't need this on my fucking conscience if she
Right.
really kills herself. I don't think she will, but still, I'm not going to remember this. I don't have a fucking like, I could completely go, oh, that kill herself girl. Well, I'm trying to work out new shit, and
Yeah.
now we're in the Akron, Ohio, at another fucking bigger dump.
Yeah.
And
you know how
Chaille's
many
like-
times, like, I can't even imagine, Doug, how many times it happens to you, because it happens to me, and I'm like a million times below your level of how this happens. Like, people will come up to me like, oh, hey, remember me from this thing? And I'm like, no. But to them, that's the biggest thing ever. So if this girl kills herself, like, hey, remember when I killed myself? Remember? And you're like, I don't kind of.
Yeah.
What's
God,
up, Susie?
I was going to
You're
make
like,
a phone call.
Oh, now I. And you're lying.
Absolutely
now I fucking
lying.
remember that. You
She's
don't
not
remember
even-
that at all.
She's not even the only one to tell you this.
So I talked to Chaille in the afternoon, and I if I don't do the right thing, quote, and contact her husband who's on her Facebook, and she does kill
Right.
herself, I'm a fucking prick.
Right.
But I'm going against everything I stand for, but I'm doing it because she's hot. And only if you're the same young, dumb, knock-kneed fan kid that's fucking with the Misfits t-shirt, I'm going to kill myself. Yeah, you probably just want an email. I'm going to email you, go, hey, go do that. But now I'm done. So I'm like, if I'm doing this, I'm going to contact her husband, but I'm only doing it because she's a hot chick, which are very rare that come to my show. And Chaille's like, you got to
Or stick around to the end.
So tune in to the next Doug Stanhope podcast to find out what happened to the hot chick.
Hey, this is Doug Stanhope, hot chick, will she or won't she podcast, part 2.
Stamps.com.
Well,
Anyway, well, Chaille,
To-
I talked to you.
we talked about it in Erie, which if there was one thing to get more depressing in Erie, it's having to contemplate what Doug should do to maintain his integrity and still feel like he like
Didn't talk a girl out of suicide?
no, like what do you do in that situation? And we waited, and it just really came up to maybe we should just give one chance for the husband to do something.
Yeah, so I contacted the husband but like, if I didn't, I'm a fucking
No,
dick.
yeah, you have
if
to.
I do, I'm a
No, you have to.
fraud.
No, fraud or not, you have to.
I think this was a
In
happy
case you're
medium.
serious, you fucking have to, dude. You
Okay,
have to.
so I Facebook email the husband, and I said, listen, call me as soon as possible, and don't talk to your wife first with my phone number. So I get a call. Hello? I go, Jason? He goes, yeah. I goes, Stanhope. He goes, bullshit. And I go, no, this is not a good thing. Listen, Diana's been contacting me, and she says she's going to kill herself when you go to work tomorrow. And he's like, oh, is she doing that again? Like it's been a constant threat. And I go, is this a regular thing? He goes, yeah, she looked up the helium that you talked about on the one CD. And I go, well, she says she's got oxys. And he starts telling me stuff about her, but he's still going, fuck, I can't believe we're talking on the phone. Like, your wife's
Right.
Big fan.
Right.
gonna kill herself.
That's like if I was talking to Keith Richards about how my sister was a whore.
He said, this is
Keith Richards.
This is overwhelming. Like, I didn't know she was really gonna like plan to do it. And he said, this is overwhelming on so many levels. Like, because we go to see you. You've signed her tits twice, man. And like, it's the most fucked up conversation. I'm leaving work right now. And then she's texting me saying, hey, you're a good guy and thanks. And then I'm sitting there feeling like more of a fucking rat because I know her husband's on the way to cock block her suicide, waiting for the text like, fuck you, you fucking rat, which I got.
That he was so blasé about it. It was like, oh, that thing again.
It wasn't really blasé. I mean, it was kind of almost like Mother, but Mother was like a wreck.
Well, he was weaving in how much of a fan he was while you were telling him about his wife.
Yeah,
The date that he.
We don't know what it's like to be this guy.
Yeah, no, the
Because
guy didn't seem
clearly
blasé.
Clearly, this lady has done this before,
Yes.
and clearly they're
Yeah,
both fans
listen,
of Doug.
Dane Cook was not nearly
So
as
we
cool
don't-
with
we
these
don't
two
know what
as
it's
Doug
like
was.
To get a call, like, because this is the business we're in. We don't know what it's like to get a call from. I mean, Brett was right. To us, this is as foreign as if a rock and roll star called and said, "Hey, your wife is going to kill herself," and she had done that before, and then you're like, "Oh, she's into that." I still can't believe I'm talking to fucking
Yeah.
Bob Dylan.
Right.
Yeah, but that's weird because I'm not famous or Bob Dylan.
But you're
But
famous
again,
to-
you're famous to some people.
Yeah, the people who know who you are, you're famous, and the same thing is true for everybody. If somebody knows who you are from only
Right.
performing, they think you're famous.
Doug, remember last year we were in Appleton? Remember we fucking outside
AJ Hawk.
Well,
AJ Hawk.
Fuck yeah.
yes, but outside of the hotel in Appleton, we went to the bars and then we met this dude, and he was like, "Oh, is that the show?" We hang out. It's the last call. We hang out, and he's like, "Oh, I'm in the hotel," and we're like, "Oh, we're in the hotel." He looks at Doug. He's like, "Dude, let's go to my room. My wife is asleep already.
Oh.
She's passed out. Let's go there. Let's fuck with her. Let's fuck with her."
That's right.
So we're like, all right, let's do that. So we go to the room and we burst in, and she's passed out. And Doug and me and Bingo, we get into bed with this, and then we wake her up, and then the dude's taking a picture of her. Like, it's essentially that. It's the fucking other side of the coin of that exact fucking thing.
By the way, they came to the show probably in Milwaukee or Eau Claire. They were, yeah. Those people. I didn't remember that story at all. And he goes, "Do you remember you crawled into
We
bed
crawled
with
into
my
bed.
wife?"
She had her
And I'm like,
Sausage
"Oh."
Army T-shirt on. We crawled into bed. We take the picture, and then the funniest part of the whole thing was that that the three of us get out of the bed, and the dude's like laughing, and she's like waking up, groggy-eyed, rubbing her eyes. She's with it. She's fine. But then Bingo all of a sudden Bingo's like, I gotta fucking poop. So then she goes into the bathroom.
Took a shit
She
in
goes
that room.
into the bathroom
I forgot.
in a stranger's hotel room, and she fucking, without shutting the door, she fucking squats down and starts taking a fucking gigantic dump.
We ditched her.
And then Doug looks at me. He's like, dude, let's get out of here. And I look at him. I'm like. And he's like, no, he just nodded at me like, right now. Like, of course, right now.
Run.
Because my point was, like, right now, like, your wife is taking a dump. And he's like, no, because of that, right now. So, like, we go out the door without saying anything to anyone. We just leave Bingo in this guy's random room taking a shit. And we're like, well, let's see if she can make her way back to the fucking...
It was a leave behind.
It's kind of... I'm sure I had a point when I started this. It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right?
Kind of. Yes,
Remember
I
me?
understand. I understood why the guy, but
Yeah.
it was just such an awkward conversation to have the fans slip into. Hey, I'm a random guy that your wife contacted to kill herself. So he goes, I'm leaving work right now, and thanks. You did the right thing. I go, seriously, apologize to her for me being a rat because I feel really fucking awful
Sorry,
for
I did
doing
the right
what is
thing.
supposed to be right. So he calls me. Well, she starts. I finally get the "you're a fucking rat" call. Oh, thanks a lot. It's my own fault. I opened my big fat mouth. Text message. I'm like, hey, how else am I going to get the painting?
Right. Perfect.
And she goes, hardy har with an emoticon. I like a suicidal girl that still uses emoticons. And I wish you would have talked to me first. I go, hey, I weighed my options. This was the only one. I said, fuck, I wish it had my
It
cell
should have
phone.
been Hardy Har and then a gunshot.
I said, how could I explain? Like, I couldn't allow for, I have random only a few random hot chicks ever come to my show. I couldn't let one go on a poorly planned suicide because I had talked to her. I go, what are you gonna do? You're gonna have a fucking fun time out? Do you have a special bottle of wine or anything? She goes, nah, I'm gonna wait till my husband goes to work so I have
It's
time
not like
to
you've
make
thought of
sure
this at all.
that the pills kick in before. And I go, that's like weak as shit.
Yeah.
So she goes, it wasn't poorly planned. You should have talked to me. And Bingo's like, should I call her? And I go, Bingo wants to talk to you. Oh, yeah, I'm sure she's real worried about. And then she stops responding.
Well,
So
it really is a thing,
he
though.
calls me
All right.
and says, listen, he said, have you heard from her? And I go, no, I texted her. She hasn't texted back since then after you talked to her. Evidently, she tells him, well, I got to go to work. So he lets her go. He goes to bring her flowers at work because that always stops a suicide.
Instead of killing yourself, here's some posies.
She had quit her job. So he wanted
No,
to...
wait, quit her job like
She had
previous
quit her
days.
job days ago.
Yeah.
He went to her work, and they go, yeah, she walked off the job days ago. And I go, I'll throw her. So I threw her one last text, and I call him. I said, I haven't heard from her. So the next day, I hear nothing. And
It was 2 days later that we were
no,
in Toledo.
I think it was the next day.
We were in Toledo when it happened.
We were in Akron, and then Toledo. Yeah, he calls me right after the show, and I had talked about it on stage awkwardly because there's no closure to the story. Well, he called. I called him after I got off stage, and he's said, I didn't want to tell you. I didn't have the heart to tell. She went to a hotel and cut her wrists. I'm assuming in a tub.
I thought
She
it was going
killed
to be
herself.
something really
Yeah.
great at the end of that. Like,
No, she killed herself.
And the 2 nights
She bought the Bill Cosby himself Netflix movie
She killed
and
herself.
realized
a
it
night
was all
early.
good. Let's just edit this. Cut. She's fine, everyone.
She killed herself a night early because I ratted her out.
She's
was one of her
fine,
last
everybody.
Texts. So yeah, and they're like, "Oh wow, I made a girl kill herself sooner."
was she clearly
My fucking first instinct was right, was to shut my fucking mouth.
you fast tracked her.
Isn't it like hot chicks to fuck it up every single time?
No kidding. She
Right,
didn't
Mitchell?
even fit my criteria of the bit about life is like a movie. If you've sat through
Yeah.
more than half of it and
you
it
don't
sucked
like
the
it?
whole
She
time,
hasn't
it
sat
probably
through
won't
half
get
of
great at the end. But she was 20 fucking 8 and hot.
But
She
I
was
mean,
just
she
doing
had
it wrong.
a bunch of problems, and that was really the reason that you reached out to her husband, was to at least like.
Who do you
offer
think
that.
he's fucking right now?
He's the one who texted me today and said no, it wasn't, because it's a long. I did a Revolver magazine top 5. Did we talk about this? Yeah, we did.
Yeah, metal bands.
Yeah,
The
they-
podcast?
Yeah, we talked about this at the beginning of the podcast, the pregame.
Yeah.
Are we still doing a podcast?
Well, they said do a top 5 about anything, so it was that day. So I said top 5 ways to kill yourself, based on this girl that I knew that killed herself, but very uncreatively when she was a very creative person.
Number 3
Here-
is Tribble Gigs.
I think number 3 was Chuck E. Cheese.
All right, that
Like in
sounds
the
okay
ball
also.
bin or something.
No, as a Gigi Allen of the Mechanical Band. So that
She
was
wanted
that
out.
story.
She wanted out.
Yeah.
Clearly,
You did everything anybody could do, more than you
I-
even feel comfortable
Yeah, but I didn't want a hot
I-
chick hating me on her way out.
with. Lots of hot chicks are gonna hate you on their way out. She's not the only one. She's just the
There's
one.
plenty
you're
of
aware
fish
of.
going into the fucking can.
it's clear that he's still kind of beating himself up over it. But I mean, I think
Right.
he did the right thing.
He absolutely did the right thing.
Not that he
because-
wants to be known as the guy who does the right thing. I think that's what he's wrestling with.
I think Doug always does the right thing.
Wow,
He has
brown
his own-
noser, brown
Yeah.
noser, brown
No.
noser.
It's
Doug
because
has
he
a
had
va-
he had a pole
Doug's
position.
done
on
the
merch.
right thing like 4 out of 19 times.
No, listen, I could kiss his ass all I want, but I don't owe him $3,000, so it's not like I'm going to get the opening.
Yeah, I let Junior slide on the.
I
Hey,
Cost
just because he
that.
doesn't have a microphone, there's no reason to berate him.
Doug has a very specific moral code, and it might not be.
He's not
everyone's.
Dexter.
No, but it might not be everyone's, but he sticks to it. He sticks to it. And this thing. with
Unless
the-
you're a hot chick, then I all of a
Then
sudden
you're
break
like,
my fucking rules.
It's all out the window.
Fuck her.
She ends up dead. He ends up driving a lumberjack truck in fucking
in-
Ohio.
In all honesty,
Oh, that was my second email after I finished the painting, and then she told me her life stinks and everything. I go, but you can't kill yourself without seeing the finale of Breaking Bad. Which, since the end of the first half of the bullshit,
Right?
oh, this is the last season, but we're gonna make it a year long.
Yeah,
for
it's going to be...
And I go, I don't. What if I fucking die without
Yeah.
seeing? I was so terrified of dying
Yeah.
without seeing the end of Breaking Bad that I actually meant that one. She
Yeah.
wrote back, "Don't watch it."
Bryan
There
Cranston
was-
said the same
there
thing.
was a kid who had like brain cancer or something.
Yeah.
And Vince Gilligan found out Breaking Bad was his favorite show and offered to show him.
They went
finale.
to
Wait,
his
no.
That
they
was
went
a
to his
Star
hospital
Wars.
room and acted out the last 4 scenes of Breaking Bad
No,
for
that
him
was-
before he
that
died.
was what it was. Offered to give him the
By
script.
the way, that should be a fucking show right there.
What's that?
Acting out shows for people who are about to die before they die.
Preview.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I pitched that
Yeah.
to a venue in
You ain't
Cincinnati
pitch-
where we take scripts of like Saved by the Bell and Cheers episodes and then just act them out with characters' names on our shirts, so we don't like dress up like them. It just says Zach.
And that
or
gets
Norm.
shot down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even Go Bananas thought that was a bad idea.
Bingo, Bingoman, Bingo, Ding Dong, Dingleman. Your family's gone.
Yeah, they were so
Her-
I love you.
Her extended family
how'd
came
they
to the
feel about
show.
me?
Have a seat on the hot seat.
Did
You're
they
on the
see
hot
all
seat.
of my Michael J. Fox impressions? 'Cause I felt like I was on it.
I love that you
the
did-
last time.
Listen, I don't know. His performance, Michael J. Fox, on his new TV show,
Yes.
shaky.
Shaky at best.
Shaky at best.
Zing!
Yes.
This podcast is brought to you by the Bill Burr Monday Morning Podcast. Fucking best podcast
That
out
is a
there.
good podcast.
He says everything that I feel a million. You get those emails where people say, "Oh, you know what? You say everything that I think, and I don't." Yeah, that's what Bill Burr does. He says everything I want to say, but he says it funny, and now I'm too washed up to say it funny. I just say it, and I stumble through it, and I stutter. So, yeah, listen to the Bill Burr Monday Morning Podcast if you want to hear a good version of what I once was. Let's travel back in time.
Yes.
Last time this whole party was together, Rock Island, Illinois, one of the quad cities, the quadiest of them all. We're on the road. Geoff Tate, Brett Erickson, Bingo Bingaman, Greg Chaille, and Kerry Mitchell was at that one.
I don't think Bingo was there.
Bingo was there in bulk, but not in spirit. Bingo was having problems with the meds. It happens every now and again, and slipping in and out of sanity.
Big
Wait, let me even back that story up.
All right.
It
I think
started
even
out,
Chaille
it started
wants
out
to
the
back
night
this up.
before. It was before we even got to the Quad Cities. We were in Omaha, Nebraska, and we got done with the show in Omaha, and we went back to the hotel in Omaha, Nebraska, and that's when Bingo decided that she was done being a person who dealt with reality with the rest of us. So she just shut down, and she was done. So
Just for people who don't understand mental illness, maybe you can understand a bad trip. Where Bingo was convinced
much like
that all of the people around her were people that she made up in her head that don't really exist, and that she needed to die, and etc. It's just like having a really bad fucking acid mushroom trip.
Except I wasn't on anything.
Right.
So on top of that, she
So
has blue hair and a prom dress on. So we come back from the gig in Omaha, and we have to get into the hotel room. And
Yeah, we should
she
just
has-
say motel to spell it out for the people. One of those places
Listen.
where highway construction workers from out of town.
No, listen, that's the exact point, because as we're trying to get a fucking comatose Bingo into the room, across the parking lot,
Not comatose. Not comatose. Spinning out, talking,
acting,
speaking in tongues.
Can't move. So across the parking lot are like a pickup truck full of like construction worker guys who are like having their fucking
at 2 o'clock in the morning.
At 2 o'clock in the morning, drinking Pabst Blue Ribbons and fucking looking around for people to fuck with. And we show up, and we have a girl who's
And
in
we're
a prom.
dressed like
we have
assholes.
a girl who's in a prom dress who is
Catatonic.
catatonic.
the word.
Catatonic.
And we have to carry this girl in a prom dress into
Dead
our
weight.
Brett, hotel room.
Brett, she's sitting. We're in a industrial workers van like they would drive, but we're dressed in our usual stupid suits. And Bingo's in this giant poofy ballerina dance mom's dress with blue hair, and she's catatonic, and she won't leave the van.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there like, baby, you got to get it together just to get inside, because this is a fucking.
We can fuck with this after we get inside
But
if
it
you'll
doesn't work
just
like
go
that.
inside.
Yeah, it
But
doesn't.
work like that.
It doesn't work like that. So we had to lift you like we're some fucking van full of date rapists who just snatched you from some concert where you were performing
Which
for
is-
special needs people.
Which is, by the way,
Or with
exactly
special needs.
which, by the way, is exactly what we did, which is fine, which is exactly what guys should do. We cared about you, and we carried you into the room. But the point being is that across the parking lot was an actual, literal group of construction workers at 2 a.m. who were drinking Ham's beers and hanging out and like punching each other in the arm.
Comparing their orange
And talking about their
reflective
fantasy
vests.
football teams. And what they did was they looked across the parking lot at a couple of fucking guys in leisure suits carrying a girl in a prom dress who's catatonic into the fucking hotel. And they went, all right, fine.
Cut to
Fine.
next
They were
day.
like, fine, that's fine.
It's
Next
two,
day,
it's two Herb Tarlicks about to fuck Lonnie Anderson. And a
Right.
very special episode of WKRP.
Next day, she rallies the next morning, late morning.
Sort
She's
of.
like, I don't
I
know
was
what's
still
going
kind of
on.
okay.
She's just trying to keep her shit together. We get to one of the worst hotels I've ever the most depressing place in Rock Island, and there's a Denny's at the end of the parking lot. And she goes, let's go just get some food. And we order food.
I went over there. I wandered over there
You
and
were
ran
on it
into you
first.
guys, and we were already and DEFCON
Bingo
5
was
or whatever.
fine when we ordered the food.
Yeah.
What do you remember what you were wearing? Does anyone remember what? Blue pajamas.
Yeah, pajamas.
She's in blue pajamas with blue hair in Rock Island, which everyone has an image of how fucked up the South is. Rural Iowa, Indiana, Illinois is way
It's
worse.
like Alabama of the Midwest.
Yes. So we're sitting there.
It's the Alabama of the 1800s. It's fucking awful.
So it's a
terrifying.
Saturday night. We're at Denny's. She
It's
orders
busy
a thing.
because it's Saturday night at Denny's.
And then I see her eyelids start to flap, which is like the telltale sign. Oh, it's about to go poorly. And I'm like, can we get the food to go? Honey, stay with me. And she was gone, and we put food in front of her, and she wouldn't eat. It's just me and her at this point, and she wouldn't eat. And then she's off, like kind of curling up, and muttering and laughing, and wouldn't respond to you.
Well, she freezes.
Yeah.
Like I know you're here, Bingo. I'm not talking like you're not in the room.
No, I did.
She the night before, that's what happened. She froze, just staring out the window, and she did the same thing. The plate of fruit arrived.
It was
your
a catatonic
milkshake.
state.
You had the hush puppy pancakes.
I fucking remember.
By the way,
that.
those would
I
be
remember
really,
that.
really good right
and the
now.
milk-
Fucking ate 'em and I was so
and the
hungry.
milkshake, and she just froze, staring straight ahead. That's
Yeah.
the position.
She would
was in.
emote to herself whatever's going on in her head. Again, just like a bad tripper. There's something going on there, but you're not part of it. And she'd laugh or cry or.
I know. I remember.
And
we can make her
this
laugh.
is dinner time, a bunch of fucking hayseeds in Denny's, and the waitress is starting to get weird because she's not eating and she won't speak. Is she okay? Yeah, she's okay. We're fine. And this goes on for 2 hours of me pleading, trying to get into her head. You just got to get the fuck out of this Denny's.
And I can't move.
Right.
We're in
I
a
can't-
corner booth, the far end of a fucking Denny's. And I just need you to trust me enough.
And we're so close to the end of the whole fucking tour. We're like 2 shows from being done. Like,
But I don't
During
have all you guys
just-
there at this time. Not all
during
you
the
guys
rush.
were there. It was
It
just
was during
us.
the rush at
Yeah.
Denny's.
Yeah.
Also.
Yeah.
The dinner rush, which
Yeah.
it's weird when a town has a dinner rush and not just a last call rush.
Yeah, that was Bingo aside, the weirdest part was that Denny's was busy.
So
I was
now
uncomfortable with
it
that.
gets close to showtime. And like, all right, we got to go. I don't fucking miss a show. I'll leave my girlfriend catatonic in a corner Denny's booth. I don't miss the show.
But we're-
I might not do well.
do you know how many times Doug left Renee catatonic in a booth?
We're 8:15. We're 8:15 at a Denny's. The waitress is like, "What's wrong with Bingo?" And me and Doug are like, "What's wrong with all these motherfuckers eating at Denny's on a Saturday night? It's dinner time. I didn't even know you
She's
guys were
the
open
sanest
now.
motherfucker in this
Yeah.
place. She's not eating the food.
We should have all checked out. This is a terrible place to
So
be."
Tate comes over because Tate can communicate. He's got his own fucking wacky
Yeah,
problem.
he's like a
A
Vulcan.
lot of times he can communicate with you.
Yeah.
That didn't work. And so then we're like, all we can do,
I never thought
everyone
about it.
Yeah.
showed up.
I never thought about it like a bad trip. If I had thought about it like a bad trip, I probably could have done better. I've done that enough. I locked myself in a closet in my own bedroom, listening to Hard Promises on cassette over and over, repeating my name and social security number to myself until I could convince myself I was real. Like that's happened more than once.
Well, everyone's trying to fucking pull the sword out of the stone to see who will be king. Well, no one can get her to move, and now it's becoming an obvious
Yeah, now we got
issue.
to do something.
And before I can allow the manager to call the authorities and have her fucking locked up in Rock Island, Illinois.
2 days before the end of the tour.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
can't even come back to
It
get
was
her.
the end.
Yeah.
We have Chaille bring the industrial van around to the front. White, the kind of
Yeah.
shit that
Super
when you
rapey
have,
van.
Yeah, no, it's like when you do community service. The one, all the guys with the fucking suits picking up fucking garbage off the side of the road. Yeah.
Yeah.
12-passenger van pulls
But
up, white van.
It's just big enough for the 5 of us to get to where we're going and sleep off our hangovers.
I get the manager out. I go, listen, this is what's going on. My girlfriend has mental illness. She's in a fucking state right now. And we're going to have to carry her out of here.
I think
It's going to be a bit of a scene. I'm just letting you know what's going on. And you saw him pause like, I don't know how to react.
Yeah.
I guess, okay. And before we could allow him to go, I should call the authorities, we went in.
Grabbed her.
No, you said it was a
No, that was on the way out.
prank.
Nope. Me and Doug picked her up. I had her legs. Doug had her under the arms.
Oh, we said
And
that
just-
to the people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody that was waiting for a table at Denny's at 8:30 on a Saturday night. The classiest group of fucks.
We picked her up complete dead weight,
I couldn't.
one
I
the
remember
legs,
not being
one
able to
under the
move.
arms,
Yeah.
and carried her out. And no one seemed to make eye contact at all. Like, this was not abnormal behavior in Rock Island. Like,
They're like, well, she's obviously had the moons over
were we
Miami.
actually? Yep.
As far as an extraction went, I think for our first one, it went well.
That's
Because-
the word I was
because
looking for.
I came up, I pulled up the van, opened the door, and then you guys had just come out the front door. Like, everyone has a hand, like that thing, light as a board, stiff as a feather, or whatever it was. Everyone had a hand on Bingo getting her into that car.
Chucked her in that van.
And we had a half hour to
I don't
be
know if we were
at the
actually
venue.
yelling. It's just a fraternity prank.
Yeah, Doug yells out, fraternity prank. And then I can't stop laughing. Which doesn't make us look less suspicious.
Or less 46 years old.
Kerry Mitchell will jump in
fraternity
on
are
the
you
end
in?
of this story that once we got Bingo out, Doug realized she had no shoes and they were still under the booth. So Kerry Mitchell ran back in and grabbed the shoes, the Bingo shoes, and then realized the table next to our table was eating the rest of Bingo's food.
I forgot that.
Welcome
part,
to
too.
my nightmare. Now you have AIDS. No, listen. The best part of that story was that our that Mitchell showed up for that weekend, and with our friend from Peoria, Tony.
I'm
This
so
kid Tony,
embarrassed
who's our
about
buddy.
this.
So
I'm
he's in
so
the like we
humiliated.
get Bingo out of there, and we're leaving from Denny's to the gig. We're going straight to the gig because we finally got her out of Denny's. Like we're to the point where we have to go straight to the gig.
That
So we
was
go
over 2.5 hours of sitting in a Denny's.
this was a long endeavor. So we finally get out of there. And now we're going straight to the gig, and our buddy Tony from Peoria, Illinois, who has no idea what the fuck is going on, has never been around any of these people before in his life. We're like, hey Tony, come hang out with us. They're cool. So he's sitting in the van, and he's just sitting there. And then Doug is like, you know, what'd be funny is if like
Act
we
like he did not
right,
exist.
it's like. Right.
And
Doug's
so
like,
I thought
let's
the
all
whole
pretend
time
that
he did
let's all
not-
pretend
he
that
was not
Tony
there.
doesn't exist.
You guys are fucking assholes.
Like Bingo's just coming out of it.
Fucking
Like let's just
assholes.
pretend that like she's the only one who can see Tony. Right.
I was
Like-
scared to death of him.
We were all scared to death of everything that had happened, but that was a really funny idea. It's almost too funny not to do.
Have
You know
we
what I
talked
mean?
on the podcast about what we did to her when she got locked up in Arizona? Chaille and I, have we talked about this on the podcast?
Hold on. We haven't finished this story.
Oh, go.
My
Go,
my favorite part, Tony aside, was when we're all in the van, finally on our way to the gig, and then she just wakes up and grabs a dress out of a box
Right.
in the back of the van. Is like, "Are we on the way to the gig?" And just puts a fucking
Yeah.
a different.
Crazy
Well, that's
dress
when
on.
that's when she said to Tony, she's like, "Hi, how you doing?
I
I'm
didn't,
Amy," and he's like, "Hi, I'm Tony." Like, yeah.
but I didn't
Guess
believe
what?
he was there.
Yeah.
I was like fucking with you guys at that point. I was like, yeah, fuck you guys.
Yeah.
Hi, my name's Bingo. Yeah, fuck you guys.
And I was.
This is that
also-
make-believe
Person who-
bastard I've been seeing forever.
At this point, Doug was referring to me as loosely stitched. So it's not like I was in great shape.
That is true, by the way.
Yeah. I've been fighting a panic attack for 2 weeks.
Yeah. You should stay with you.
No.
Chaille and I were doing whatever fucking tour we were doing. Yeah, it's probably 07, 08, somewhere in there. I know. All I know is I was supposed to do Dudley and Bob's fucking Carnival Cruise KLBJ comics and fans.
You had me at Dudley and Bob's.
That was it.
They're good guys. They're good guys in Austin.
Dudley, and then Bob. If you type those into the two password fields, will get you into Mr. Skin. Dudley is the username and Bob is the password. Should we edit this part out?
Yeah, we should definitely. I like it that
did
you
not
know
know
when you
that.
bomb.
What? I've done that show before.
Either way, they're friends of mine, and
Yeah.
I'm supposed to do a cruise where I have to do one fucking show and then hang out on a free cruise for a week. And I was looking forward to that. But Nutty Bags here gets fucking locked up in a fucking puff unit back
Chaille,
when you
what year
could,
was this? What year was this?
before they made a lot of cuts. Probably
Sorry.
07.
2007? Okay.
So she's like, I'm going to the puff unit, is what they call it, up in Benson, and it's my meds, and I'm like, I don't know, I'm not canceling gigs. She goes, they wouldn't let me go home and get clothes first. I need clothes in a mental lockup in Benson, Arizona.
They took me in an ambulance.
Population 85 or something. I don't know. So just get me clothes. So Chaille and I were playing. It was Louisville, before my listener sends me an email. And we get to the place, the gig. We find a thrift store.
I've been locked up. Hang on. I've been locked up at this point for a couple of days. I have no shoes because they take you by ambulance. I have no shoes. I have pajamas on. I have nothing. I have absolutely
So we go
nothing.
to get our clothes from the Goodwill to FedEx immediately to her, and we go, oh, we're not sending her normal clothes at all. We just went and found the most fucked up clothes.
Fat people
Giant
from fat sequence fucking dresses.
moo-moos.
You're sending her Elvis Gerback jerseys?
We sent
I
there's
was
this pair
trying
of
You know number 18?
these oversized slippers the size of pillows.
The only thing
that
I
looked-
absolutely needed was shoes. That's the only thing I absolutely needed.
And the only
You did
thing
the only
not
thing you didn't
send
get?
shoes.
And the only thing
He
we
sent-
sent was these pillow-size goof cartoon slippers that were stitched to look like sneakers,
They look like big
but they're
sneakers.
giant pillow sneakers.
I never got shoes. The whole time I was in lockup, I did not have fucking shoes.
No way, you had shoes, you just chose not to wear them.
No, she wore them.
She had slippers and a sequined moo-moo.
We took one of those boxes from the UPS store. It's like a 12 by 12 square,
Yeah.
right? We stuffed that thing like it was ready to
It was
burst.
going to explode, yeah. It was like shaking up a
under-
carbonated
Yeah.
soda
It was
bottle.
under pressure. It was so.
You
full.
could have fit 5 inpatients in each item of clothing that they sent.
We
Fat
we
fucking-
nailed the size. I believe we nailed the size.
Yeah, got it.
Thanks, guys.
And I had to miss the fucking cruise.
Oh.
Again, it was almost...
I feel like you buried the lead because that seems like the important part of the story.
Hang on.
right
Well,
there.
no, I missed I didn't miss a paying gig, but when I got to the cruise, I'm like, can I really go on a free cruise while my girlfriend's in some fucking in giant
sequins
cartoon
and
Flintstone slippers? And it was almost like the Suicide Girl, where I'm going, you know what? Fuck.
I feel bad if something terrible
I have to
happens.
do the right thing. But she got out like before I even got home, and Joby drove her home, and she was just like the van, snapped
Okay.
out of it. And I still regret that I ratted out that chick who's going to kill herself, and I still regret missing that goddamn cruise.
Oh, shit. What?
They still do the cruise. Do they still do the cruise?
Yeah, but I'm not
And that was
invited.
the
I
cruise
stiffed
that-
them once.
That was the cruise
Stiff 'em.
that tipped over in Italy.
They were pissed off for a minute.
They're only pissed off because
Yeah.
John Evans' ex-wife came with them.
I
I think that was the year
That's a
that
deep
Dina
cut
went
right
with
there.
him, and she was not nice to people. I think and John got her
yeah.
last minute.
See, now we have to edit that out.
Close
We don't have to
strong,
edit that out.
fellas.
They broke
Close
up. She worked
strong.
on Fridays on. She worked
Close it.
Fridays on.
All right. That's part one. We'll try a part two. Maybe we'll do a bump. We'll see what's going on. And
Cut.
If you want to see me Sunday
Stopka.
mornings, I go to the Sunday school, River Hills Church of God in Loveland, Ohio. It's upstairs during the main service.
Jeff Tate is Geoff. He's
Are
going to
you-
be
Are
crazy.
you doing fucking John Yoder gigs again?
Yeah,
Yeah, dude.
doing a handful of them.
I thought you were past that.
We'll get to what he's passed next.
There's you.
Teaser.
Okay. Mwah.
That was part of the post-game show in DeKalb, Illinois. Stay tuned for whatever comes next. It's the Doug Stanhope podcast. As soon as I get professional, I'll have a sponsor. Until then, don't use Stamps.com, LegalZoom, B-Ceuticals, or anything else until I tell you to. As those other podcasts, they might be full of shit. Zing! Play the Matoid.
Party time. Party time. Party time. Party time. Drink your drinks and eat your eats. It's party time. Laugh your laughs and heat your heats. It's party time. Smile your smiles and blue your blues. It's party time. There. Dance your dance and shoe your shoes. It's party time. Howl your howls and suck your socks. It's party time. Yeah. Oh baby, grab your craps and fuck your fucks. It's party time. Grab your craps and fuck your fucks. It's party time. Everybody, grab your craps and fuck your fucks. It's party time. One more. Grab your craps and fuck your fucks. It's party time. Here we go. Party time. Yeah. Party time. Party time. Yeah. Party time. 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 Hey.